It's a very good question. Very good question. So, the Rambam writes that we have 13 principles of faith, meaning there are 13 foundational ideological beliefs that each Jew must believe. If a Jew does not believe them, he is considered a heretic. So, for example, I help a lot of people convert to Judaism. Anyone that's a righteous non-Jew that wants to become a Jew, they're able to become a Jew if they learn the right things, make certain life changes. It's a very, very important thing to help people convert to Judaism if they are righteous and they want to do it. And we deal with a lot of converts, Baruch Hashem. Some of the most important Jews that ever lived actually were born non-Jews, like Yitro, or a Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, Onkelo Sager. Many of the most important Jews in the world actually were born non-Jews or came from families of converts. Even the Mashiach himself, originally his great-great-grandmother was Ruth. Ruth was a convert. So point is that the Rambam says that you have to believe the Mashiach is going to come. You have to believe that Hashem has no body. You have to believe that Hashem knows what's in your mind. You have to believe that Hashem knows the future, that there is nothing else but Hashem. But he also said you have to believe in reward and punishment, meaning that the righteous get rewarded and the wicked get punished. Part of the reward and punishment is this world, but the ultimate reward and punishment is after this world, after a person completes their life. Which means, the Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah, page 17a, says, once Mashiach comes, the people that are righteous will have an eternity of good. Pleasure beyond all the pleasures you can possibly imagine, forever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever. The people that are wicked, it'll depend how wicked they are. If they're a little bit wicked, like most of us, but not really wicked, they made a few mistakes here and there, then they have to pay a little bit of punishment for some of the things they did if they didn't pay for it in this world. But the really wicked, the Gemara says their punishment will be eternity, forever, until their soul is completely destroyed. Who are the people that are considered, or some of the examples at least, of people that are considered really wicked to the extent of eternal punishment? I'll give you just a couple of examples that are relevant to everyone. Someone that violates Shabbat and dies without doing tshuva, meaning not they violated Shabbat by accident, not they violated Shabbat 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, even 100 times, but then they started keeping Shabbat. No. Someone that simply, at the end of their life, they were mechalel Shabbat. They were driving on Shabbat. They were watching TV on Shabbat. They were smoking cigarettes on Shabbat, lighting fire on Shabbat, working on Shabbat. Somebody dies like this. According to Hashem, that person is considered the worst person on earth, even worse than a murderer. Even worse than a murderer. The punishment for a murderer is not as bad as a punishment for a mechalel Shabbat. One of the ways we know is the 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments go in order. First commandment, Hashem says, I'm the one that took you out of Egypt. Then he says, don't have any other God. Then he says, don't use my name in vain. Then he says, the 4th commandment, keep Shabbat. 5th commandment, honor your parents. 6th commandment, don't murder. So Chazal says, how come don't murder is before Shabbat? It says, because the murderer, even though he murdered, he still has a share of the world to come. He can still go after he goes to Gehinnom and he suffers for a little while. He still can go to heaven if he was righteous everywhere else. But the Mechalel Shabbat, no heaven. No heaven, ever. Meaning, Rabotai, if you're not keeping Shabbat yet, it's time to start. It's time to start. It's not a suggestion. So, the people that are part of the wicked, depends how wicked they are. If they're part of the worst, like Mechalel Shabbat, then they have a permanent problem. If they are a little bit wicked, then they have a temporary problem. But hopefully they'll pay enough in this world. A little bit of suffering here and there will always help you not have to suffer later on. But definitely it's not going to be a quiet scene, because one of the things the Gemara says is that part of the punishment for the wicked is that they are actually going to see the reward of the righteous. They're going to see all the righteous people get their reward while they're suffering. That's part of it, which makes it even much, much worse. So imagine you see all of your enemies get the best things in the world while you're suffering. that makes your suffering much, much worse. Much, much worse. That's part of the punishment.